Ever since Kyrie Irving has made comments about the league and suggesting them to shut down, players have followed his lead and have said they are not playing, whether it's due to the coronavirus concerns or players standing up for social injustice. These are the players that have sat out. Forward Davis Bertans of the Washington Wizards, guard Avery Bradley of the Los Angeles Lakers, forward Trevor Ariza of the Portland Trail Blazers, and center DeMarcus Cousins, who is currently a free agent. So, since these players have sat out, how these players not playing affect the team?
I don't think too harshly in reality. You look at the three players that are sitting out that are on teams right now: Avery Bradley, Trevor Ariza, and Davis Bertans. The Wizards were never going to contend anyway, so I don't think Davis Bertans being out is going to be too much of a hard hit for them. But Avery Bradley and Trevor Ariza are where the heavier losses are given. You see, Avery Bradley and Trevor Ariza both played key roles on their respective teams, the Lakers and the Trailblazers. And Avery Bradley, he gave a lot of playmaking and shooting behind LeBron James, which the Lakers needed because they didn't have much playmaking behind him or behind LeBron or Rajon Rondo. And like the Lakers had a pretty good defense last year, and that was a huge part of that was Avery Bradley. He was a big pest on the perimeter, and he caused a lot of problems for opposing players. So he will be a hard hit for the Lakers. Another one is Trevor Ariza, who was also a very good perimeter defender and was a very good three-point shooter as well. Now, I do think these are going to be losses for the teams, but I don't think that this is going to be the end of the world for those teams, as both teams have a decent amount of depth and have players that are coming off of injuries that give them even more depth. So I don't think it'll be too big of a deal for each of them. Now, for Davis Bertans, who is on the Wizards, I think it's a smart move for himself because he's been underappreciated and underpaid. And because of how well he's been playing this year, he's in for a big payday. And I think it's smart for him because he wants to avoid the risk of getting injured so that he doesn't take a pay cut again. And it's not like the Wizards are going to contend anyway, like I said. So, yeah. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think this is a huge blow on the Lakers. I know like their superstar players have not been sitting out like LeBron James, but Avery Bradley and is a really good player and a key piece, and he's a pesky defender, like you said, and he is a guy that they rely on. I think he is one of their best options besides him, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And with him out, they really won't be able to go get as far as they could have been in the playoffs. And they have Dwight Howard has said that he might sit out too, but he hasn't made it official. So if they lose him too, it's going to be hard for the Lakers because they can't. They're not really. There's not much free agents left that they can potentially sign. But I've said this before, and I said that I had the Clippers winning it all, and this just helps them because this helps the Clippers because the Lakers were their main threat, and now they don't have to worry about them as much. But like you said before, Dallas Bertans, I think he made the best decision because he has had injuries in the past, and he doesn't want to get injured again, so he doesn't get underpaid again. So this is the best move I think Dallas Bertans has made because the Wizards are not looking to contend, and even if they do make the playoffs, they're not going to get far. And his stats look good right now, so if he waits until free agency, he can get a big payday, which I think he'll stay with the Wizards. But if another team offers him good enough money, I think he could sign there, and it'll help his chances of getting more money.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like your Clippers point because, like you said, I also had them winning it all. I didn't think the Bucks had enough playmakers to win the whole championship. And now that the Lakers are suffering some key rotational piece losses, I really think this is going to help the Clippers a lot in their postseason run.
Yeah, so like I said before, these players are not going to be going to Orlando to finish the season. So teams will have to look for players that they can sign to help those teams. So how can these teams like the Los Angeles Lakers or the Portland Trailblazers fill these holes?
Well, let's just get out the way that I don't believe Davis Bertans will need to be replaced because the Wizards are not going to contend anyway. With that being said, I think Avery Bradley should be replaced by either Jamal Crawford or J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is still a very good three-point shooter, no matter how many 2018 finals memes there are, and that's a fact. And Jamal Crawford, although he's old, 40 years old, and is a liability on defense, he's still a bucket. And he should help boost their bench offense, which they struggled with, as their second unit did not have a good guard to go with to help orchestrate the offense. I think those are two good selections because they're mainly players who can play good defense and shoot the three well. And I think that's exactly what the Blazers should be looking for, too, when they're trying to replace Trevor Ariza. And the two people I think they should try to replace him with are either Gerald Green or Iman Shumpert. Gerald Green plays good defense. And with the Rockets, you have to play good defense if you want to be in their system. And since he has been in their system, we know that he can play good defense. He has the athleticism, the size. He has all the tools needed to hang with quick guards and with the bigger forwards. And one key thing that I also think teams will look into him for is the fact that he shot 36% from three-point land last year. So they all believe that he is a good shooter. Now, Amon Shumpert, we all know he's known as a three-point marksman, but I really do believe that he's underrated on defense playing for the Cavs team. And you can see that I talk a lot about three-point shooting and defense, but that's really because that's what those that's what those holes are on these rosters of the Lakers and the Trailblazers. Now with Avery Bradley and Trevor Ariza gone for their respective teams, each of them played really good defense. We had really good three-point shooting, and now that we know the difficulty of replacing these 3 and D wings, I know this is kind of random, but I think we should start recognizing their value because I really think that 3 and D wings are underappreciated in the NBA.
Yeah, I think for the Portland Trailblazers and the Los Angeles Lakers, they both lost players that were good three-point shooters and defenders. And Avery Bradley, he was a pesky defender that always gave pressure to the guards. So they it's going to be hard for the Lakers to find a player that can that was almost like Avery Bradley who can shoot the three and be a good defender. But the Lakers have been looking for a playmaker when LeBron is not on the court. So they have some options in Isaiah Thomas, who's a guy who's undersized. I don't think they will really sign him, but if you're looking for playmaking, I think you go for him. Or you can call Darren Collison. I mean, he's a guy that has retired last year, but he can come out of retirement and play for the Lakers to possibly win a championship. But they do have other players on their roster like Quinn Cook, who has had playoff experience and a guy that you can really trust. So they don't really have to worry about that too much because and J.R. Smith has been in the front runner for the conversations to replace Avery Bradley. He's a guy, like you said, a guy that's a pesky defender, and you could see that in the 2016 and finals when they won. He was a guy that was always on Klay Thompson or Steph Curry because he was such a great defender. And he can also shoot threes, So I think he's perfect for Avery Bradley. But he hasn't been playing for almost 1.5 years now, and you don't know how well he's going to come back. So that's going to be hard for the Lakers to choose a player. For the Trailblazers, I think you don't have to necessarily sign a guy because Melo said that he might opt out too, but we don't know that yet because he hasn't made it official. So I think you play your young guys like Gary Trent Jr. He's really good, but if you want to sign someone, like you said, Gerald Green or Iman Shumpert was really good because Iman Shumpert this season when he was played with the Nets, he had 11 steals in 12 games. That just shows how good of a defender he is. So if the Trailblazers are really looking for defense, I think Iman Shumpert's the guy to go for. But the Wizards, they shouldn't really do anything. Like you said, they have Davis Bertans, who they lost, but they're not. Their chances of making the playoffs are low, and they should. I think the best thing that the Wizards should do is play their young players like Troy Brown Jr. or Moritz Wagner, who can develop and become a solid player for them next year.
So what you're saying is the Trailblazers shouldn't try to sign anyone?
I'm saying they can sign someone, but I think they have enough players or enough depth to play their young players.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but they don't have enough depth at the wing position. You know what I'm saying? They have like Gary Trent Jr., but who's someone else that can really play that small forward position on that roster?
Yeah, I know there's not like when you look at their roster, there's not like any eye popping like, oh, this guy is really good. But they have some key players on their roster. I know they traded away Kent Bazemore for Trevor Ariza, but Trevor Ariza is way better than him. But there's not many options on the free agent list right now. Like most of the players have been signed already, so I don't know if they really want to sign someone right now.
I mean, the thing is, they don't have to sign that player for like a full year. They really only have to sign that player for that tournament. You look at the according to ESPN, the depth chart for small forward behind Carmelo Anthony. I don't know. Like, I don't think Mario Hezonja is a starting caliber small forward. Gary Trent Jr. is a decent, is a up and coming player. But besides that, I'm not too sure they have enough. And because of the fact that they're allowed to only sign that player for the rest of this season, I feel like there's no hurt that it can do. It can only benefit them. Low risk, high reward. So I think they should definitely try to sign either Amon Shumpert or Gerald Green.
I don't really think so because you have to realize that they have to fit into that system and learn all the plays, and they only have about a month to do that, and they only have 8 games to prove that they're worth the on the team, the being on the team, and get deserved playing minutes. Because if I found like the first couple games they don't prove that, they're going to be right out of the rotation immediately because the Portland Trailblazers are a team that want to get to the playoffs, and they if they want to get to the playoffs, they have to almost win every game. And with a new player coming in, I don't think they'll be able to do that because they'll have to learn the rotation and the plays.
I get what you're saying based on the chemistry wise, but I feel like talent wise, if there's someone you can pick up for basically free, I would say why not? Especially because it won't hurt if they're out of the rotation anyway. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I think talent wise, I agree with you, but if you're looking on like chemistry wise, I don't think the Trailblazers have time to help those players within a month just to get ready and go to Orlando.